Hi there everybody, it feels like forever since I've done one of these. I'm Jen and today's topic is stop overfilling your bucket and become a space creator. But before I talk more about that, a little bit of an introduction for those of you who may not know me. Jen Turnham, I use my Bachelor of Psychology and I've spent many years helping people apply psychology and neuroscience to achieve transformations in all different areas of their life. Now I choose to use my knowledge and experience, and I focus on a really cool, unique subset of the population called highly sensitive extroverts. And what I do is I am passionate about helping them learn to shine bright and view their sensitivity as a superpower. If you think you might be a highly sensitive extrovert, I'd love for you to check out my group, Bright Sparks. And also I have a free download attached to this video, Feel Fantastic in 3 Steps. And that's applicable to everybody, so you're welcome to download that too. But back to today's topic, stop overfilling your bucket. So what do I mean by this? What I've come across speaking to many women and many of my clients, you have such a long to-do list, you fill your day with back-to-back tasks and appointments and you're racing from one thing to the other, you always feel like you're rushing, you always feel like you're running late, and whenever you get somewhere, it takes a while to actually get over all of that rushing, and then before you know it, you've got to start rushing again because then it's on to the next thing. And I've come across this very recently with 2 of my clients where they have this tendency to look back on their day and essentially, I suppose, rate their day or base their feelings on how many things they've ticked off, how many things they've managed to do, and it seems to be perhaps a quantity, not a quality thing. So if this is you, then this video is definitely going to be helpful for you. So why is this rush, racing from one thing to the other? Why is that not working for us? It's because our brains are forever playing catch up because we don't allow them enough time to process things. For those of you who don't know, one of the criteria of HSPs is our depth of processing. So our brains need a lot of time to process everything because we take it to such a deep level. The other thing that is unique to highly sensitives is we are sensitive to subtleties. So we notice all the things. So this is the D and the S in the DOES criteria, DOES, which make up the criteria to determine whether you're a highly sensitive or not. So we have a depth of processing, plus we're sensitive to subtlety, so we're noticing so many things going on around us. And if you think about your brain as a bit of a funnel, what we're doing when we rush, is we're constantly chucking more and more things into that funnel, and it never gets a chance to empty out. So we never get to feel a sense of calm and peace. Except maybe when we're deliberately taking time out, maybe to read a book or to meditate. But there are ways, or there's no reason why you can't feel that sense of calm and peace on a more regular basis. So if you combine all of those things that I just described, the rush, plus the fact that we need more time to process because we process everything at a deep level, plus the fact that we notice so much more in our world than non-HSPs, it's no wonder that you potentially spend your life feeling like you're one of those rats on the wheel, just going round and round and round and not actually getting anywhere. And it's just not a pleasant way to live your life because it's not very enjoyable feeling like you're constantly racing the clock. So what can we do instead? Remember this term, transition time. So HSPs need transition time to transition from one thing to the next. So transition time is basically, it's creating space between your appointments and between your activities in order to allow that processing, then noticing, then more processing, and on and on and on. So it's working with your brain rather than fighting against your brain, and it will give you a totally different experience of life if you manage to apply this concept. And one of my clients, she nicknamed hers her settling in time. So when she gets up in the morning, she said, I need time to just settle into the day. And I can totally relate to that, because myself, I need settling in time when I wake up in the morning, whereas Warren, he gets up and he's out the door, off and at him straight away, whereas I'd need that time to settle in. So I really like that concept. Same, for example, let's say you're racing to an appointment, you get to the waiting room, and then you don't have to wait long, and then you're being called to see the doctor or the accountant or whoever it is. See if you can revisit one of those experiences and feel that kind of sense of ongoing angst that's always within you. Whereas imagine if you arrived, you had some settling in time to sit in the waiting room, notice your surroundings, process, sense all the subtleties, process a bit more, and just sit and be before you actually then moved on to that appointment. It would just be a totally different experience. So transition time or settling in, they're the two terms that you might choose to remember in order to try and apply this into your life. So your challenge for this week, if you choose to accept, is take a look at your diary. And the reason I do this, by the way, is because if we don't take action on the things that we learned, then nothing will change, and essentially we won't grow as a person. So that's why I always set a little bit of a mini challenge at the end of these videos. So your challenge this week is to look at your diary, work out where you can create space or add more transition time between activities. So maybe you might need to shuffle things around a bit, maybe even delete some things or not do some things if you can, because remember, not everything is absolutely essential, and if you don't do it, the world will come to an end. I feel like sometimes we get caught in that trap of thinking, oh my gosh, if I don't do this, the world will stop turning. But if you, let's say you fell over and broke your leg and then got rushed to hospital, obviously those things wouldn't get done and the world wouldn't stop turning. So remind yourself that a lot of the essentials are actually not as essential. In fact, your health and your peace of mind is probably more important than a lot of these things that you're trying to squeeze into your day. So that's step one. Look at your diary and see what you can shuffle and change around to create space this week, and then start practicing every time you book something to try and create that space in between your activities. And once you start doing that, I ask you to stop for a moment and feel the difference. So start to pay attention to the impact it actually has on you to add that space into your life. And then once you practice it enough, it'll just become part of something that you're doing. Hi Stephanie, thank you for joining me. So your goal is to get to a point where your aim is to do less each day, because you need to have that space in between. And I promise you that if you start applying this, your life will seem more full and more complete. And my clients who I have worked with on this, as I said at the beginning, they had this sense that their day and their life, the meaning that was added to their day and to their life was from ticking off these tasks on their to-do list. And what they are now starting to realize is that it's quality time, not quantity time. So I've encouraged both of them to actually start doing stuff just for them and having that space and that transition time in between the activities, and it's not surprising to me, but it's surprising to them how they're actually enjoying their life much more. So I promise you, if you give it a try, it will be worth the effort and the energy that you put into it. That's pretty much it for me today. Thank you, Stephanie, for joining me, and I will see you all really soon when I do my next video. And if you're not a member of Bright Sparks, the link to check out the group is in the post attached to this video. So I'd love to see you there. Take care and have a fabulous day. See you all soon. Now I can't turn this off. There it is. Bye.